Okay, what's up, guys? Let me get this music turned down, and then we'll start today's stream. Okay, we got 10 games here for Thursday. It's been a while, man. It's been a week or so since we've last streamed. Obviously, All-Star break. There were no NBA games over the past week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the break. Didn't bet on too much stuff that maybe you didn't know much about. I really didn't bet anything. Like I took the whole week off from betting. But I'm itching to get back at it, man. I'm itching to get back to the grind. We got a 10-game slate here for Thursday. Over the next 45, 50 minutes, guys, probably up until about 7 o'clock, we're going to talk through this slate, answer any questions you have. So if you have any questions about player props, whatever it may be, you can throw those in chat and we'll get those answered. And also, I'm going to try and give out at least one slip for you guys to tail, if not maybe a couple. We'll keep an eye on injury news. We'll keep an eye on starting lineups. See if there's any good plays we can snipe, over this span of the next 45, 50 minutes. But I do want to give out one play with this KD discount. We do have Prizepicks did give us a discount on Kevin Durant's points prop, and I haven't used this yet. So I do want to use this, and I've already got a couple plays I'm liking to pair with this. So if you guys haven't used this discount, you can you can use it now because I'm about to give out a couple plays I like with this discount. So we'll let people start filing into the stream, but I'll go ahead and talk about a couple plays I'm liking, and then we'll give some information, talk about the plays I like. So first one play that I'm liking for tonight that I want to share with you guys and pair with this Kevin Durant discount. It's a fantasy score line. It's in one of the late games. I like Maxime Reynal. I like him for more than 25 fantasy score. So the Kings, they've been tanking a lot lately. They've been playing their younger guys, down the stretch in the fourth quarter. You're not seeing a lot of minutes for Russell Westbrook or DeMar DeRozan, but Maxime Reynal is one of their younger guys. Pretty sure he's a rookie. I think this is his first year. So he should be out there, in the fourth quarter, whether it's a competitive game, blowout, doesn't matter. Even in a blowout, he might still play. And the Kings are coming into this game very short-handed at center. Domantas Sabonis is out. Dylan Cardwell is also out. So without Cardwell and without Sabonis, I'm expecting Reynal to play almost close to 30 minutes just because they really don't have any other centers. They have Precious Achiuwa, but they haven't really shown a inclination to play Achiuwa big minutes, and then they have Drew Eubanks, who they barely played this year. So I think if we get 28 to 30 minutes from Reynal, this fantasy score line of 25 is a bit low. I mean, Reynal, he's been a player that averages close to a fantasy point per minute. I think, even if it's a competitive game, even if it's a blowout, he's going to be out there. I know there's a chance that if it's a competitive game, the Kings don't play Westbrook and they don't play DeRozan because they're tanking, they're trying to lose. But Reynal is a young guy that should be getting minutes, in this scenario. So 25 fantasy score just looks like a low line on him, given the minutes he projects for without Sabonis and without Dylan Cardwell. And then the other play that I like is actually for tomorrow. So I gave this out in my Discord. If you're in my Discord, you might have already saw this. The line hasn't bumped. I'm kind of surprised by this. Trey Murphy is doubtful for tomorrow. He's not expected to play. They adjusted a lot of the lines on Saddiq Bey, but they didn't adjust his PRA. His PRA is still at 25.5. So I like this on Saddiq Bey more than 25.5 PRA. Just think this line's a little bit too low with Trey Murphy expected to be out tomorrow. We can actually look and go over to Props Madness. If you look this season, Saddiq Bey has played 2 games without Trey Murphy, and in those games, he's had, in terms of PRA, he has had 31 and 36. Now, the game he had 36 against the Lakers, Zion did not play in that game, but this game against the Warriors, Zion did play in, and Bey had 31 PRA. Obviously, taking out Trey Murphy opens up a lot of usage, opens up a lot of shot attempts, opens up minutes as well, and Saddiq Bey should be one of the guys that soaks up minutes, usage, in the absence of Trey Murphy. I'm expecting this line to get bumped up at some point. Right now, if you actually look, Hard Rock has his line at 27.5. So, yeah, I think 25.5 PRA on Saddiq Bey over looks pretty good tomorrow. I know people might not want to tail a play that comes out tomorrow, but there's value in it, so I'm just gonna put it out there for you guys. So if you want 2 plays to pair with the KD discount, feel free to tail these 2 because I really like both these plays a good amount. But yeah, if you guys have questions for tonight, throw those in chat. We'll get them answered. And over the next 40, 50 minutes, we'll also react to any starting lineups, any injury news, and we can, we'll see if we can snipe some plays off of that. But I see some people in chat already. Thank you guys to everyone who's tuned into the chat. David Wayne asked a question about Mitchell Robinson. He said 1.5 free throw attempts. Pistons definitely fouling him on the way up at least once. Not to mention they might do hack a Mitch. I mean, yeah, that's always on the table with Mitchell Robinson. Teams always will intentionally foul him because he's such a bad free throw shooter. That's a gamble, I think, David. But if that's a play you like, man, go for it. Alex is asking Quentin Grimes over points. We can take a look at that one. So right now on Prizepicks, they have Grimes at 11.5 points. Let's see. Let's go over to Props Madness and look at Quentin Grimes. So right now the Sixers are without Joel Embiid and they're without Paul George. So let's look at games this year without Embiid and without George. Grimes averaging 14.4 points per game over in 9 out of 13 games. So pretty good hit rate on his points prop. Now, some of these games I believe he was starting and he was playing pretty big minutes. He hasn't been starting lately. He's been coming off the bench. But his minutes have still been fairly strong off the bench. I think tonight he probably projects for like 23 to 26 minutes or somewhere in that range. Let's just look at games without Embiid and George when he plays like 23 to 26 minutes. So hit rate goes to 2 out of 4. Not as good. The game against Dallas, he had 6 points, 2 for 9 shooting, so pretty bad shooting there. The game against the Warriors, he had 10 points, 4 for 9 shooting. I think the matchup against the Hawks is pretty decent. I mean, the Hawks, they give up a lot of points to Grimes' position. They give up a lot of points against his dominant shooting zone where he takes a lot of his shots. So that's good to see. So yeah, I don't hate that play on Quentin Grimes over points. I think it's solid. I mean, he's been pretty good without Embiid and without George. Both those guys are obviously out tonight. So yeah, I don't hate that play. Simon's Ingram shared the same baby mama and both cooked right before the break versus each other. Love the over 37.5 combo points over again. That's a crazy, crazy comment. But I mean, sure, if that's something you want to go for, David, take it, man. Didn't think I'd have a baby mama narrative in the chat, but we got it. Why is Kashawn George RA so low? Really, it's just because the Wizards don't want to win any games right now. And they're not playing these guys full minutes. His line's at 9. He hasn't been coming close to going over that lately. But you look at his minutes lately, I'm pretty sure he hasn't played over 30 minutes in a bunch of games lately. Let's see. And that really goes for every Wizards main starter, like Kaishan, Sar, those guys. So let's see. Let's look at his rebounds and assists. Last game he was at 24 minutes, 19 minutes, 18 minutes, 26 minutes, 19 minutes. He hasn't played more than 26 minutes in any of his last 5 games. The Wizards want to lose. So that's why the line is set where it is. If we knew Kaishan George was going to play over 30 minutes, his RA line would probably be 12.5. But there's just so much uncertainty on how many minutes he plays, so that's why it's where it's at. It looks like a lot of sportsbooks are favoring him to go over 8.5. Prospects has his line at 9. DraftKings has his line at 9.5, but juice on the under. I think the line's set correctly. I wouldn't be running to bet that, I don't think. I think it's set there for a reason. What is an alternative to fantasy for Reynal? We could, let's see. It would probably be PRA. Yeah, probably PRA 22.5 if you can get that. I definitely like fantasy more. Reynal can get some steals and blocks, and he typically doesn't turn the ball over a ton, so I think I prefer fantasy there. But yeah, 22.5 PRA over, I think that's fine too if you can get that. I'm assuming if you're asking for an alternative to fantasy, you don't have Prizepicks. James Harden under assist. Let's take a look at Harden's assist. So Harden, it's tough to look at Harden's stats for the whole season because he's on a different team now. We can look at his games with Cleveland, which I'm pretty sure it's 2 or 3 games he's played with Cleveland. I think the Kings game, yeah, that was the first game he played with Cleveland. So his last 3 games have been with Cleveland. In those games, 8 assists on 11 potentials, 7 assists on 18 potentials, and then 11 assists on 13 potentials. So I mean, he still had pretty good handling, getting potential assists. Let's see where his line's set at for tonight. I'm assuming, I think it's at 8. Where is it? There's Harden's assist. Yeah, it's at 8. I mean, I think the way that he goes under is like if it's a big blowout and he just doesn't play close to full minutes. But even then, you know, if Cleveland blows them out and in that case Cleveland's scored a lot of points, like you could still see Harden getting 8 assists. I feel like at 8, I'd just probably stay away. Don't love the under, don't love the over. It's just one of those lines I feel like is kind of set correctly. Like right now, a lot of sportsbooks have his line at 8.5, or excuse me, at 7.5, but it's juiced to the over. The sports books that have his line at 8.5, it's kind of his juice towards the under. So 8 just feels like the right line to me. I wouldn't be going one way or the other on that play, honestly. I love Jalen Johnson, 1.5 stocks. Covered last 5 games versus Philly. Game is 240.5 total with 1.5 spread. No Embiid, so Johnson can kind of be all over the place. Sure, yeah. Steals and blocks are stat types I typically try and just stay away from. They're super, super volatile, super unpredictable. But if that's a play you like, David, yeah, go for it. Aaron Naismith over 11.5 field goal attempts. You can look at that one. So the Pacers, they're another team that's kind of shorthanded tonight. Let's see. So they have no Siakam. That's a big one, obviously. Obi Toppin, he's been out like the whole season. TJ McConnell's also out. And then Johnny Furphy's out. But really the big one is, Siakam. So it looks like Naismith hasn't played a game yet this season without Siakam. I'm sure he played some without Siakam, though, last season. Yeah, he played 2 games without Siakam last season. He had 10 field goal attempts in 30 minutes. But, last season they had Tyrese Halliburton, so things were definitely different. And then he played, it looks like 14 minutes. Yeah, only 14 minutes and 7 field goal attempts. Look, there's obviously usage available. There's shot attempts available without Siakam. I do worry a little bit that the Pacers, like, kind of similar to the Wizards, they're not trying to win right now. We've seen the Pacers resting their guys a lot. But the books are setting lines on the Pacers guys as if they're going to be playing their full minutes. So I guess we just kind of have to assume Naismith's playing full minutes. I mean, if you give me over 30 minutes from Naismith without Siakam, I feel like he's got a pretty good chance at taking 12 shots. We don't have a sample without him, without Siakam this year. His points prop is set at 15.5. Like, I bet if you just look at games where he goes over his points, 13 field goal attempts, 15, 8, 13, 13, and 9. I mean, most of the games, where he goes over points, he also goes over field goal attempts. Don't love it. It's not a play I'm in love with, honestly. I feel like if I was going to bet an over on Naismith, like I maybe would just take points. Because it feels like if he does take 12 shots, he's going to be very efficient against the Wizards. Like it's a great matchup, obviously. There's definitely a chance he could score 16 points without 12 shot attempts. Because the Wizards are going to give you a bunch of open looks. You just got to make them. Okay, they bumped that Reynald line to 28. So hopefully you guys got that. That's a 3-point bump. So we got some good value on that one. The Sadiq Bey line, though, is still available for tomorrow. And I do like that a lot with Trey Murphy expected to be out. But yeah, the Reynald line, now that it bumped up 3 points, I would not take that. I would not take that. But hopefully you guys got it before it bumped. Hey, bro, I remember hearing you mention that you're limited on Prizepicks to $5 on promos. I have the same limit. I think it's because you are playing with only profits and not depositing often. I have a $5 limit on literally everything. Like, even if I just want to play $5 or $10 on like if I just want to take Sadiq Bey with Concanupple and put $10 on it, it doesn't work. It doesn't go through. I can only play $5 on any lineup, which it sucks, but I made a bunch of money on Prizepicks, so it kind of is what it is. The $5 limit on promos, I mean, that's going to happen to especially if you're winning. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, when you get limited, it is what it is. You can contact support and ask them to raise your limits, but typically they won't. They're not going to. Especially if they consider you a sharp bettor. They're not going to raise your limits. Sucks, man, but it's just part of the game. The books are going to do whatever they can to make sure we don't make money. I like Vucevic for over PRA 23.5 on Hard Rock. Yeah, Vuce has been pretty good, since he joined the Celtics. Even coming off the bench, he's been productive. So, how many? Let's see. I think he's played 2 games or 3 games with the Celtics. I think he's played. Let's see. I'm looking at last season. Let's look at this season. I believe he's played three games. So his last 3 games with the Celtics, 27 PRA in 28 minutes, 17 PRA in 23 minutes. I'm pretty sure this game against the Knicks, he got into some foul trouble, and then 33 PRA against the Bulls in a little revenge game. Look, you don't really want to look at Vooch's full season stats because his role's just different now. He played 28 minutes, 23 minutes, 26 minutes. So he probably projects for like mid-20s minutes. You could look at games where he plays like 22 to 24 minutes, but it's gonna pull stats from when he was on Boston or when he was on Chicago. So take it with a grain of salt. I don't hate it on Vooch. I think, especially coming off the bench, a lot of his minutes are going to be without Jaylen Brown on the floor, without Derek White on the floor. So he's going to be more productive in those minutes. So yeah, I don't hate it on Vooch, 23.5. But I wouldn't, don't look at his season-long stats because obviously that doesn't matter now. He's on a totally different team. You think Desmond Bane is in a good spot to go over his points prop tonight? Cleared 3 out of 4 last few games versus them being a popular play you think goes under? I mean, we can look at this on Bane. So right now, the Magic are without Franz Wagner. He did get ruled out. Let's look at games this year without Franz Wagner. So without Wagner, Bane, he's over this line in 13 out of 25 games. So 52% hit rate, averaging right around 20.5 points per game. We can look at the sportsbook odds. So it looks like a lot of some sportsbooks have his line at 19.5. Some have him at 20.5. Prizepicks obviously at 20.5. I feel like 20.5 is a good line on Bane. We can look at the matchup. So, Bane, he does score about 54% of his points from within 10 feet, and that's where the Kings have really struggled this year. They're giving up a lot of points in the paint, the most in the league, I'm pretty sure. So that's good for Desmond Bane. He scores 20% of his points as a pick and roll ball handler. The Kings have been, average defending that play type. He scores 17% of his points in transition. Kings bottom 10 defending transition. I think the matchup is good for Bane, but 20.5 feels like a good line. Like I don't think I'd be betting the over there. I don't think I'd be betting the under. That's one of those I just kind of would stay away from. I think his line actually was at 21.5 earlier today, and it got bumped down. So the market seems to be betting more into his unders, at least given where his projection was at earlier. We did get the Cavs starting lineup: Harden, Mitchell, Wade, Mobley, and Allen. So Evan Mobley is starting first game back from injury. I thought they might bring him off the bench, but he is starting. Well, I'm gonna put my Discord on this screen. So Jalen Tyson's coming off the bench. I don't think I'd be betting any Jalen Tyson unders. I feel like his lines are still pretty good. He's still probably going to play a decent amount. He might even play blowout. Yeah. Even though Tyson's not starting, I don't think I'd be betting any unders there. Jameer Watkins under points and rebounds. What you think? Let's take a look at that one. So Watkins is one of the players that is likely going to play more if the Wizards, are trying, quote unquote, trying to lose. He's one of those guys that, like, in the fourth quarter, if they're trying to lose, like, they'll have Watkins on the floor and not, Kaishan, all the starters. So that's why you're probably seeing some higher lines on Watkins. The books are basically just expecting him to get more minutes with them trying to lose. On the season, I mean, he's only over this line in 4 games, but, like, his last 2 games, he's played 33 minutes and 29 minutes. So he probably projects for like mid-20s minutes. Like, we look at games with at least 24 minutes. Now he has a 50% hit rate, 4 out of 8 games. So I feel like 15.5 on Watkins is probably a good line. If you think the Wizards are actually going to try and win, then I would take the Watkins under, but I'm not confident in that. Like, there's definitely a chance they do try and lose. And, Kaishan, Bilal, Bub, some of those guys, the main guys, the starters, like, don't play in the fourth quarter. Who knows? It seems like the NBA's trying to kind of crack down on tanking and stuff, the in-game tanking, but teams are probably still going to do it anyway. Like, I don't think it's going to stop them. But we did see some teams get fined for, in-game tanking. But will it actually stop them from doing it? Probably not. When O's phone's going off, I'm always nervous to see if it's a snipe so I can catch. Yeah, I'm always trying to stay locked in, give you guys some good plays. All right, we've got the Nets starting lineup: Traore, Demon, MPJ, Clowney, and Sharp. So that was as expected. So nothing there. What do you think of Jokic points or PR? We can look at that for Jokic. I feel like the Clippers, I want to look at his head-to-head stats against the Clippers. I want to say they're a team that typically defend him well. I might be thinking it's a different team. So in his career, 28.6 points per game against the Clippers. He's had some big games against the Clippers lately. 31, that was this season. And then that was also, I believe, this season he had 55 points. What about PR? I mean, he's had some big games against the Clippers lately. I don't think it's like the greatest matchup for Jokic. I mean, Brook Lopez, he's slow on his feet, but he can still defend pretty well. You never know how teams are going to defend Jokic if they double. You know, I could definitely see the Clippers doing that. I feel like where Jokic's lines are set at, I mean, 38.5 PR, that feels like a pretty good line on Jokic. Most of the books have his line at 38.5. Pretty much even money. He's had some success in this matchup. We can look at his games this year. Let's see. So right now there's no... Take a look at this. So this season, right now there's no Aaron Gordon. There's no Peyton Watson. So he's played 5 games this year without those guys. He's not been great, but I think some of these games were like... I think one of these games he was coming back from injury. Or maybe not. But some of these matchups have also been a little bit tougher. Cleveland, Orlando, Houston, like obviously not good matchups. Honestly, man, like I typically don't bet on star players a lot because like the lines are just so efficient. I've said this before. The public loves to bet on star players because like, you know, that's just what they do. And with so many people betting on star players, like the books know where to set the lines at when you have so much money coming in on a projection. Those are like some of the most efficient lines, and some of the toughest lines to beat are like star players, overs, unders, whatever, because the lines are just so efficiently set. Where you can get some value is like with role players, players who maybe don't play as much but are in a different scenario, different role. That's when you can find some really good value. When it's a tougher situation to project, if you know how to project it or if you have a feeling on how to project it, that's when there's some value. But like with Jokic, man, like his lines are going to be set the same like almost every game, and it's just like it feels like a toss-up whether or not he goes over. I will say this is a game that projects to be competitive, so you would think Jokic probably plays like full minutes here. So let's look at games this year where he plays at least like, I don't know, 32 minutes. With at least 32 minutes, I mean, his hit rate's pretty good, 19 out of 30 games. So he has that going for him. The minutes should be solid. He's cut, week off, so he's pretty rested. He did play 34 minutes in his last game before the break, so that's good. He's pretty much not limited anymore. So if there was one positive I would think for a Jokic over, it's that this does project to be a competitive game, and his minutes should be pretty full. Is the Durant promo a scam? I mean, I've said this before, man. You're getting a what? What's Durant's points prop set at? Right now, his points is set at 25.5. You're getting a 19.5 discount. I mean, you're getting a 6-point discount. If he goes under, it is what it is, but it's a 6-point discount. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a good bet. It could not hit. Like, there's a chance it doesn't hit, but you still want to take it. If you think it's a scam, if you think Prizepicks is trying to bait you, then take his under 25.5. I got a Tobias rebounds at 5 on a few slips earlier in the week. Sits at 5.5 now, but had 12 first game with no beef stew or Duran. Absolutely has to help rebound tonight. I kind of like that look for sure. I think Stu and Duran have been out for like 3 or 4 games this year. Let's see. So without Stewart and Duran, so Tobias has only played one of those games. But let's just look. Let's see. So without Duran, 4 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 12 rebounds. Without Stewart, 12 rebounds. I mean, yeah, he's definitely going to be around the basket more, for sure. And, Duran is one of the best rebounders in the league, so taking Duran off the floor is going to open up more rebound opportunities. I mean, last game, Tobias had 16 rebound chances, so he was around the basket a ton. He was definitely in position to grab rebounds. That's a plus. It's not a good matchup for rebounds. The Knicks are really good on the glass, but I don't hate that look for sure. I think that was a solid play. We think about Schroeder fantasy seems too easy because if they blow out Brooklyn, which they should, he plays more. See, I'm not sure he'll play more in a blowout. I'm not sure about that one because they have Craig Porter Jr. and he's kind of like their end of the bench guard. So I think in a blowout they might actually play Craig Porter Jr. and not Schroeder. Schroeder's minutes have been like in the high teens. I think that's probably what he projects for tonight. I feel like his lines are set pretty good. Okay, we've got to play. Andre Drummond is starting. I was waiting for this. So Andre Drummond is starting. I like 15 PRA, 14.5 PR. These are two really good plays. I wasn't sure if the books were going to start Drummond or the Sixers, if they were going to start Drummond or Bona. Lines are set as if Bona's starting. So you guys want two good plays for tonight? Lock these in. We'll see how fast they adjust these lines. If they do, they might not adjust them, but last time Embiid was out, right before the break, they started Bona. Now they're going back to Drummond. So, yeah, there's definitely value on Drummond props. And we'll see if I can get something on Sleeper. Hornets will start Ball, Knuppel, Miller, Williams, and Kalk, so that's as expected. Rockets lineup came out. It was as expected as well, so we're all good there. Come on, hurry up. $15.5 PR, 15.5 PRA with a lower multiplier. Take 7.5 rebounds. We'll take that for Drummond on Sleeper. Still a pretty good payout. Oh, got taken off the board. Fuck, man. Can I get that? I got 15.5 PR. Okay. Okay, it looks like they took rebounds up to 10.5 and then locked it. You can still get PRA and PR, though. So these are still up, guys, if you want to get these. These are both really good. What to pair it with? I mean, so I gave out... One prop I get... Is the Sadiq Bey line still up? Yeah, take this. If you want to pair, I like this for tomorrow. Sadiq Bey, 25.5 PRA. I kind of already talked about it at the beginning of the stream, why I like that. Yeah. I would probably take PRA between the two props on Drummond. Either one's fine, though, honestly. They basically are the same. I wouldn't take... I saw someone ask about Ray Nall Fantasy. I wouldn't take that because that bumped up 3 points. So the value's pretty much gone there. That line's at 28 now, I believe. Yeah. But Sadiq Bey PRA tomorrow without Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy's doubtful. That's a good play. So yeah, feel free to lock that in. We'll do PRA on Drummond. I wouldn't play, like, you can do, Prizepicks lets you stack player props, but like if you look, you get a 3x payout for taking PRA. If you add PR, the payout fucking goes down. It makes no sense. So why would I add another pick to get a lower payout? Like, who invented the combo or the stacking props? Like it's so stupid. Like there's no point. Obviously, if he goes over PR, he's going to also hit PRA, but still, like, why would I put it in there to get a lower payout? So, yeah, don't do that. There's a couple other plays I was looking at. Like, all the stuff I gave out on Patreon already bumped, so I'm not going to do give out any of that. Grayson Allen did get ruled, or he's questionable. So if Grayson Allen doesn't play, there's value on Jordan Goodwin props, on Jalen Green props. So like you could maybe take those. What else was I looking at? That's pretty much it. A lot of the fantasy lines have already bumped up. Or bumped down, either way. I like these two, though. I do. So yeah, if you just want a 2-pick, that's one you could do. I'm surprised they haven't bumped these lines on Drummond yet. So his rebounds is at 9.5 now. So they bumped up his rebounds line 2. There it goes. Okay. 4.5 point bump. So that was a good value, for sure. Hope you guys got that in. 4.5 point bump. Look, if it doesn't hit, man, it is what it is. But we're going to find the plays that are good. And in the long run, when you're getting plays like this, you're going to make money. Are you going to make money every single night? Of course not. But when you're in these streams, man, and we're finding the good plays, you're going to make some money. PR bumped up 4 as well, from 14.5 to 18.5. There you go, man. It pays to no ball. It pays to no ball. I wonder how much bonus lines went down. I doubt they went down a ton. I think his lines only went down like a point or 2. But the Drummond overs look really good. Really, really good. Hopefully they come through for us. Hopefully Drummond can cash for us. Bay is out. Bay's not out tomorrow. No, he's not out. He might have been out like before the All-Star break, but that could have been just like rest. Unless I'm tripping. Yeah, he's good. He's not on the injury report. Trey Murphy is doubtful. That's why the prop looks good. Cade Cunningham over assist. We can look at Cade Cunningham's assists. Switch over to Props Madness. Also, guys, forgot to mention this on the stream. If you guys don't have an account on Props Madness, go try them out. It's a subscription research site. It's $20 a month. You can use my promo code NOAH to get 25% off. So your first month would be $15, literally 50 cents a day. Very, very affordable. And you see all the numbers, the analysis, the stats I'm pulling up on the screen. You can do all this yourself. So if you really want to take the time to get better at prop betting and research, I would suggest investing in Props Madness at least for a month. Just give them a try. And you can cancel at any time. So if you're not happy with the product, you can cancel. But they have a very good conversion rate. A lot of people who subscribe to Props Madness stay subscribed because the product's really good. So check them out if you would like. Use that code NOAH to get a discount. But let's see. He was asking about Cade assist. Let's take a look at Cade assist. So let's see. On the season, 66% hit rate. Lines at 8.5 pretty much everywhere. Some sportsbooks favoring the over. Most sportsbooks favoring the over. Hard Rock minus 140. Looks like the over definitely has better value than the under if you're going to pick a side here. I wonder without Duren. So Cade averages 9.6 assists per game this year. Without Duren, 8.8. So that's interesting. So his assist numbers have gone down with Duren out, which kind of makes sense because Duren's, like a lob threat, a guy that can use in pick and roll. He can get assist off him. In these games, though, he had 8 assists, 7 assists on 20 potentials. Good God. So he still had a lot of assist opportunities in that game. 13 assists on 18 potentials. 7 assists on only 10 potentials. And then 9 assists on 14 potentials. He's played the Knicks twice this year, I think. Let's see. Head-to-head stats. Yeah, twice this year. Both those games were without Duren. 13 assists, 7 assists. I'd lean the over on Cade assist if I had to pick a side. The market's favoring his over. Sometimes it's just okay to just trust the market more than anything. The Knicks are a team, I want to say they don't really double or trap Cade a lot. They'll just let him they'll guard him one-on-one. Typically, for Cade to get assists, you kind of want him to get trapped and doubled because he just makes him have to pass out. But I mean, he had a 13 assist game against the Knicks early this year. That's good. 7 assists. But he only played 22 minutes in that game, so that's worth noting. I mean, his assist props were at 9.5 in both of these games. Today it's 8.5, obviously. Don't hate it. I don't hate the over there. It's even worse than, the others get VIPs and special promos. Yeah, man, I mean, it is what it is. I will say, if you see somebody betting, not calling anybody out, but if you see someone betting $50, $100 on a discount or a taco or whatever, just know they're a losing bettor. You're not able to bet that much money if you win. They only give you those high limits if you lose. I see people on Twitter, these dumbass cappers that like have no idea what they're doing. They'll post like a taco slip and they're putting $100 on it, and it's like, dude, you're literally just outing yourself. Pacers will start Nembhard, Shepard, Naismith, Walker, and Huff. So Pacers starting lineup is as expected, so nothing to note there. We're still waiting for the Wizards starting lineup, I believe, and we should get that any moment now. And I think that's probably it for all the 7 o'clock games. Let's see what Cleveland, Brooklyn got the Washington, Indiana. Still waiting for Washington. Knicks, Pistons, still waiting for that one. Charlotte, Houston got those. Philly, Atlanta got those. Okay, just had to check that. You like Brook Lopez over 14.5 PRA? I like his over 12.5 PR. 14.5 PRA, I feel like probably just as good. Yeah, you could take that. Any thoughts on Vucevic over PR? I answered that one on Vuce, yeah. Jared Allen over 25.5 or 25 PRA? Let's see. So, you know, some of Jared Allen's games lately have been without Evan Mobley. Like, he's had some big games, but now Mobley's back. So if we look at games with Mobley this year, he's averaging 22.4 PRA per game. Obviously, production's not as strong. Now, Mobley's probably going to be on a minutes limit, so I don't know how much of an impact Mobley coming back will have on Allen, but I wouldn't look too much into these recent games. All these recent games were without Mobley. So now that Mobley's back, I feel like 25.5, 25, like I feel like that's a good line on Allen. I wouldn't be going one way or the other there. Besides fantasy score, what's your favorite pick type and why? I'll be honest, man, I don't have a favorite pick type. Like, I just try and bet where the value is. Fantasy score is what I like to look at the most because I'm just very familiar with the scoring system. I've played daily fantasy for 10 years, so I know what goes into making a fantasy score projection. But if there's value on a points prop, if there's value on a rebounds prop, like, it doesn't matter. I'll just bet whatever, wherever I see the good value at. I don't really have a favorite, pick type. Definitely, I mean, fantasy score would be my favorite, I guess. It's what I bet the most. Jair says, first live stream back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back, man. Honestly felt like the week kind of flew by. Like, it literally felt like yesterday I was, ending stream and had a week off, and now we're back to the grind. But I'm ready to get back at it, man. Ready for the game to start. Hopefully we can win some money tonight. We got a points prop you're confident in because of my country. We can only bet points. Honestly, man, you're kind of putting me on the spot. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I really have no idea. Maybe like, like maybe if you think Grayson Allen might get ruled out, you could take like an over on Jalen Green points or Jordan Goodwin points because those guys would both benefit. Vooch at 12.5, I don't mind. Don't mind that. But yeah, there's nothing I'm loving for a points prop, I guess. Haven't really taken a look at the points prop board. Damn, if you're in a country where you can only bet points, that's annoying. That's super unfortunate. What is a confident under you have in mind? Confident under. I mean, I gave out Evan Mobley under 34.5 fantasy today. Line's at 33.5 now. I mean, I was confident in that one. I definitely would have liked to have seen Mobley not starting, but even with him starting, I'm expecting him to be on a minutes limit because he's been out for a month. Also, I took Terrence Mann under 18.5 fantasy. That line's at 16.5 now, but that was an under I liked. Bona, his fantasy line was at 21.5. It got bumped down 2 points now that he's not starting. I feel like, now it's 19.5. That's a good line. I wouldn't take an under there. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess you could tell one of my Patreon plays, but the line's at bump, so the value's not as good there. But I did take Mobley under fantasy, and I took Terrence Mann under fantasy. Timothy says, "Hi Noah, thanks again for the stream. How do you like Dylan Harper fantasy and Jalen Johnson fantasy?" Take a look at those. Where's Jalen Johnson's line? I think, Jalen Johnson's line's at 51. Good God. Look, Jalen Johnson, like, he's been insanely productive this year. He's playing big minutes. Without Embiid, I think the matchup's pretty good. I feel like 51's a good line, though. Like, I know he's averaging 62 over his last 5 games. You know, that doesn't mean he should project for 62 fantasy points. At 51, like, again, that's it's almost similar to the Jokic props. Like, lines, I know Jalen Johnson's been a guy that's gone over a lot of his projections this year because he's just, the books have been slower to adjust his lines because he's a player that has outperformed expectations. I feel like 51's a good line, though. I guess I'd lean the over if I had to pick a side. And then Dylan Harper fantasy. I want to say, yeah, he's another player that's been playing really well lately. Some of these games, though, I think were, like, I want to say Castle missed a game recently. I think Fox might, or, yeah, I think Castle missed a game recently. Let's look at Dylan Harper. I'm waiting for the day, I know it's coming. I'm waiting for the day Props Madness adds fantasy score, and we can research fantasy score on Props Madness. They said they're going to work on it, so. But, like, these last, let's see. So, I could have swore Castle was out one of these games. Maybe I'm tripping. He did miss this game. That was it. I mean, you look at Harper's minutes. He's consistently been like in the mid to high 20s. 27, 23, 29, 19 there. But then 28, 23. Like, if you just look at his PRA, when he plays like 22 to 25 minutes, which is probably what he projects for tonight. I mean, he's averaging 19.5 PRA, which probably equates to like 23, 24 fantasy. Line's at 22. Feels like a good line. Maybe I would lean the over on that one. But yeah, I get why you like those. I mean, obviously, you know, they've been going over a lot lately, but I try not to look too much at recent performance because recent performance doesn't mean too much. Every day is a new day. Con points Goblin at 14.5. We could look at that one. I've said this a lot, guys. Like, the Demons and the Goblins, man, on Prizepicks, they're not worth it. Like, don't play them. But people still play them anyway, even though I tell them not to. Look, Con, he probably goes over 14.5 points. I don't think it's the best matchup, though. Like, you look at where Con scores his points. 54% of his points come from catch and shoot. Rockets 4th best defending catch and shoot. 24% of his points come from spot up. Rockets 3rd best defending spot up. So, like, it's definitely a bad matchup for Con. The payout you're getting on 14.5 points, like, even if it hits, it's one of those plays, like, it's just not worth the payout. It has to hit a large majority of the time to be a profitable play. Like, you could bet Con Goblin points 10 times. It probably has to hit, like, 7 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times to be worth playing. I just don't know if it has that high of a hit rate, especially, like, not in this matchup. So, I'd probably pass on that one. You do what you want, though. What are the locks? No, we gave out a couple plays already. If you didn't get them, I'm sorry. I mean, I tried to give out the plays as early as I could. I gave them out beginning of the stream. So really, if you want to catch the plays, you know, you'll want to try and get in here a little bit earlier. I'm pretty sure all the plays we already gave out have bumps, so you know, it's not even worth talking about anymore. What's up, Noah gang? How have you been? How was your break? Break was pretty good, man. Break was pretty good. Just enjoyed some time off. Didn't really gamble much at all. But now I'm ready to get back at it. Surprisingly, Drummond PRA still up on underdog 14.5, but for 0.87. So yeah, they adjusted the multiplier there. I mean, at 0.87, that's still probably okay. But don't know if I'd be running to bet that. It's not like that's a crazy error or anything. How are you getting all these lineup notifications? I follow Underdog NBA on Twitter, and I turn on notifications for their account. So anytime, you know, a starting lineup comes out, there's injury news, you'll get it from Underdog. So follow this account, turn on notifications. We did get the Wizards starting lineup: Carrington, Johnson, Koulibaly, George, and Vooch. So that's as expected. So nothing to note there. Right now, bump to 28 fan score. What do you think? I wouldn't take that. Typically, when a fantasy score line bumps 2-3 points, at that point, you just stay away. You don't bet the over, you don't bet the under. It's just, just stay away from it. So, wouldn't take it. Trey Johnson fantasy only bumped a point. What you thinking? I may take it, but Wizards been doing that tanking ish to the max. Yeah, so I think Trey Johnson, he's one of their younger players, so like he might be safe from the tanking shenanigans bullshit that they're doing. So he's been out for injury. Since his first game back from injury, he did only play 18 minutes. I would expect him to play more today because they've had a week off for rest. The matchup against the Pacers, I think, is decent. Now the Pacers don't give up a lot of catch and shoot, which that's where Johnson does score a good amount of his points from. That's a little concerning, but they do really struggle against pick and roll ball handlers. 22% of his points are coming from as a pick and roll ball handler. 13% of his points coming off screens. Pacers are bad defending that. He can get to the free throw line. 10% of his points coming from the free throw line. Pacers give up free throws. The matchup's solid for sure. I think he plays probably 24 to 26 minutes. And if we just look, games this year with 24 to 26 minutes, you can just look at like PRA. He's averaging, 18.1 PRA, which probably equates to like 23, 24 fantasy. Some of these games were also with Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr's out too. CJ McCollum no longer on the team, so there's a lot of guys out. Let's see. One game this year without Alex Sarr, when he played 24 to 26 minutes, he had 27 PRA. So very good production there. Obviously they don't have CJ McCollum anymore. They don't have Chris Middleton anymore. Johnson's one of their younger players that should be playing more right now. If they're in that developmental stage, he's one of their guys that should be getting more minutes. Now, will they actually play more minutes? I guess that's to be determined, but he should be getting more minutes. All right, I'm going to answer this last question from Benny, and then we're going to hop out of here, guys, because it's almost 7 o'clock. Games are about to start here in a minute. Also, haven't had any supper, and I'm pretty damn hungry. Don't know what we're eating tonight. We'll figure it out. But Benny asked, Brandon Miller over points. We can take a look at that one on Brandon Miller. So, don't think the matchup's great against Houston, but the positive, no Miles Bridges suspension, no Musa Diabate also suspended. If we just look at 2 games this year without Miles Bridges, 33 points, 31 points. Now, these matchups were against Atlanta and Golden State. Obviously, better matchups than facing Houston. 22.5 feels like a good line. The sportsbooks have his line at 22.5. Some sportsbooks slightly favoring the under. Don't love that one. Don't love that one. Boy said supper. What's wrong with supper? What do you guys say? Dinner? What's wrong? What's wrong with supper? Is that too kid? You gonna fix me supper, honey? I guess I'll have to start saying dinner now. I'm getting clowned for saying supper. I'll have to go see what's on the supper menu tonight. I think it's gonna be butter chicken. I think it's gonna be. You guys eat butter chicken? That's something that my fiance makes. We really like it. A little chicken curry, some rice, a little Caesar salad on the side. That shit be hitting, man. It be hitting. But all right, guys, I'm out of here. Good luck. I'll see you guys in the stream tomorrow. Same time. Peace out, everybody.